Hello and welcome to the Gun Locker. Now today is the turn of Remington's T-Rex .22 sub 12 ft-lbs PCP air rifle. Now this gun's been around a bit, but I haven't managed to get my hands on one until now. I'm really kind of keen to do the review on it because I've seen quite a few online. You know, it has been much spoken about, and I just wanted to see whether it performs as well as some people say it does. It's a budget gun, okay, so I'm not expecting too much, especially at this price point, and I'm going to get that out of the way now. It costs £299. That's without the high-end scope and mount, and that's without the bipod. The bare rifle on its own, £299, but there are some little added extras within that, such as a scope, which is a 3-9x40 that comes with it, some scope mounts, a single shot tray, and a rotary mag. Again, I'm going to talk about all of that lot as we go along. Yeah, I'm really kind of keen to find out how it performs, especially for this price point. Is it going to do well, or is it going to do crap? If it's anything like the Remington Warhawk, which again is a budget underlever air rifle, that actually shot surprisingly well. So I'm kind of hoping that this is going to do similar, but hey, let's find out. Before I crack on with the review though, I must give a massive shout out to Mark at Guns R Us in Sheffield. Thank you very much, Mark. He's very kindly lent me this air rifle to review. Guys, if you get a chance, pop onto his website, Guns R Us. You'll find that he doesn't just sell air guns, but he deals with airsoft. He also sells shotguns, firearms, you know, as in centre fires and rimfires. And he sells a lot of accessories as well, so it's well worth having a look. Oh, and also, quite often he has package deals where he'll sell a gun with a pump as well, and other bits and pieces to go along with it. Or, you know, handguns. By handguns, I'm talking about CO2 pellet guns or BB guns with BBs. So check it out. It's a good site. You might be able to get yourself a decent deal, that's for sure. So yeah, let's make a start with this review, shall we? If you've seen my previous ones, you'll know that I basically break it down into design and build, and then accuracy and performance. I'll talk about the accuracy and performance after I've shown you footage of me shooting this rifle outside. What I will say, I'm not going to make any apologies now for the length of this video. It's as long as it is. You can, you know, cut through or chop and change as you want to. That's entirely up to you. If you want to skip paragraphs or chapters, you can do. But the reason why it's quite lengthy is because I've actually gone through quite a few pellets on the pellet test. I wanted to see whether it was pellet fussy, and that takes time. You know, I cut out a bit of the footage as where I can, but the actual filming of me shooting is all real time. Okay, that said, let's make a start. Design and build. If you've seen the review that I did on Remington Warhawk, you'll have heard a little bit about the history of the company, so I am not going to delve into that. There's just no need to. What I will do is say I'll drop a link to that review, and you can have a look at that if you like. But going forward, what do we got here? So the model, it's a T-Rex. It does have a variant, and that's the T-Rex bullpup. This is a traditional sporting rifle suited for the field. It's a PCP, obviously, so pre-charged pneumatic. It comes in three calibers, .177, .22 and .25. And again, guys, as always, you'll see me looking down because I've got my notepad here. There's quite a lot to go through, so I'm just gonna give you the tech specs on it. I'll pop them up on the screen as well to the right hand side, so you can refer back to them if you want to. And also you're going to see as we go along the star ratings pop up for all the different categories that I score. Okay, so The stock, well, as you can see, it's synthetic or plastic. It's, what can I say, it's plastic. You can feel some seams on it, but they're not, you know, they're not overly sharp, they're not kind of poorly done. It's just as they join the body of the molds together, you always have a bit of a seam on it. But yeah, plastic, that's it. But what do you expect? You know, it's a budget gun. With regards to the stock style, as you can see, it's a semi pistol grip style. It has a rollover cheek piece, and this cheek piece is adjustable. The butt pad is shaped, but that's fixed. With regards to colours, this is what you get. It's black, but it does have an attractive green flash. I don't mind that, I think it's okay, and it's also got a little bit of green at the base of the butt pad as well. Yeah, why not? Why not have a little bit of colour? I don't see the issue with this. It's not garish, it's not overly done, it's just gives a little bit of a design element, I suppose, a little bit of aesthetics. And with regards to aesthetics, how would I score it? Well, do you know what? For a budget gun, I really like it. I like the details. You know, it's got a triangular shaped sound moderator on the end. Okay, let me just move that over. You might be able to see that there. It's got some detailing. It's got detailing to the fore end. You know, it's got a nice bit of detailing to the pistol grip there, semi-pistol grip. It's got a little bit of detailing at the base of the cheek piece, and as I say, the butt pad is nicely shaped. Do I like the look of it? I really do. Honestly, I think for the money, yeah, it's exceptional. It's scoring 4 out of 5 for me, and I think it deserves it. I really do. Now, with regards to features and fit, so like I've said on previous reviews, I score the rifle for the stock and then for the metalwork, and in each part there's a possible 33 marks that they can gain. So with regards to the stock, because you've got the butt pad that's cushioned, shoulder molding, it's also completely ambidextrous as well. And by that, what I mean is the cheek pieces are swell on both sides, and also the cocking lever, you can swap this from right to left, so it is a truly ambidextrous rifle. Again, this is a budget rifle. Excuse me, I woke up with a bit of a cold this morning. That's better. So we've got that. We've spoken about the grip, ambidextrous grip. You can obviously shoot it as a thumbs up if you'd like to, or a wraparound, whatever's comfortable with you. It accommodates all of that, no problem at all. And the fore end, not only does it have this nice bit of detailing, but again, for a budget rifle, it's got a moulded Picatinny rail. And that, again, is a great touch. You know, it allows you to fit that bipod, gives you a little bit more stability. There are no sling studs on it, however, you could fit a sling stud to your bipod, and also there's a pre-drilled hole here which would accommodate a stud. I'd suggest that you be careful when you fit it on the back there, but yeah, I can't see it not being able to accommodate studs. So obviously, and of course, being that it's synthetic, it's completely weather resistant, which is fantastic, you know. Saying that, and especially if you're new to the sport, gun maintenance and cleanliness is, you know, is paramount. So it doesn't matter if you've got a synthetic stock that can take a knock and it can take inclement weather, so heavy rain and all that sort of stuff. You've got metalwork on here that can rust. You've also got, I mean, for the most part the chassis here is aluminium. You do have steel parts in it. It always pays to wipe your gun down at the end of each shoot. Not only if it's been raining, but if you have gone out and done some vermin control and your hands might have some, I hate to say it, but blood on them. That blood can actually be a little bit acidic and it can eat into the metalwork. So make sure that after each shoot, give your gun a good clean, good wipe down before you put it away. Okay, and that goes for any gun. I guess, I mean, I learned that very early doors with my shotguns, because they are extremely prone to rusting on the outside. And one thing that you don't want to do is spoil the bluing of some very nice barrels. Right, that aside, I digress as always. With regards to the metalwork, so another nice feature of this gun is that, alright, it comes with a scope, which is excellent, and it comes with mounts for the scope, which is even better, but it does have open sights. Now they're not the same quality as you'd get on, you know, something like a Viroc, a HW77K, but they are there, and it means to say that, you know, if you didn't want to use the scope, you can actually, you know, just go out there and shoot with open sights and have some fun and hone your skills, you know, why not? So great little feature, and they're adjustable, which is cool, you know, can't knock it. So we've got open iron sights, we've got scope rails fitted, Picatinny on the top, we've got a shrouded barrel, as you can see. It's moderated. We've got, now, although it's a probe fill cylinder, so I don't know if you can see that, so you move this cap over to one side and the entry point is at the base there. It uses a probe, okay, but the nice thing about this is got a Foster quick coupler on the end. So you can basically plug that into your whip very quickly, put it into this, and you don't have to, you know, if you've got more than one PCP air rifle, you don't have to keep changing your whip end. You can simply plug that into the Foster fit coupler very quickly. So yeah, that's nice. Manometer, well, as you can see, it's at the end. It's quite clear. It's, you know, the green zone is a safe zone, which is great. The only thing that I will say is that it's near the dangerous end of the rifle, so guys, be very careful. Don't look at it if there's anything in the gun. You know, you certainly don't want that loading, be looking at that end of the rifle. What I will say, and I'll come back to this later, is that when you fill your air rifles, please don't rely on the manometers. Rely on the manometer that you've got on your cylinder or your air supply, because that's more likely to give you a better reading necessarily than what you're going to get on these. And I say that because, as I'll talk a little bit about this more, you know, as we go on, but as you get to higher and higher pressures, then you want to make sure that you're using decent gear, so you're not actually blowing the seals on these guns. You're going over the 250 max, which is what this is, but again, I'll mention that in a minute. You just want to be a little bit more careful, okay? But yeah, going back to the rifle and going back to the metalwork, it is also fitted with a regulator, and although you can't adjust that, it's a pretty nifty thing to have on a budget PCP. And I'm going to keep saying this is a budget PCP. Cocking lever, easy reach, ambidextrous, so you can flip it over to the other side. Trigger, it is a two-stage trigger. It's fairly predictable, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about this whilst I'm shooting it, so I'll leave that to the end. With regards to the safety, The safety is positioned here in, I'll just lift it up for the camera, it's positioned here in front of the trigger guard, or in the front part of the trigger guard, so it isn't within the trigger well, as it were. It's a push through affair, so currently it's in safe. Oh, sorry, that's in safe as it is at the moment. That's in fire mode. It has a red ring to indicate that you know, it's there, it's live. And also, when you cock the rifle, now there's nothing in this, it's empty, there's an indicator to say that the rifle is cocked. Okay? Good thing about this is that you can decock it, and you do that simply by putting the safety into fire, holding the cocking lever, depressing the trigger, and just allowing that to go back in. This is a budget PCP, guys, and you can decock it. It's a great bit of kit, it really is. For the money, and I'll tell you what that is in a bit, for the money, it's excellent. So with regards to features and fit, I've scored it basically 3 out of 5 stars. The reason for that is that it scores 12 for the stock, 13 for the metalwork. Both of those are out of 33 each. You know, it's not going to have all the features like you'd expect on an FX, a high-end customizable rifle. You know, this is budget, so you'd expect it to be lower down. I have scored it 4.5 though out of 5 for how it fits in the shoulder. For me, it just works really, really well. But overall, 3 out of 5. Build quality, yes, there are some very fine seams showing on a plastic stock, and you know, there's a little bit here, but I mean, I'm being very, very picky here, but to be honest, there is nothing else here that screams that it's poor quality, you know. For the money, I think it's exceptional, it really is, and for that, across the board, I've given it 4 out of 5 stars. Again, guys, this is all relative, okay, but you'll understand why as we progress with this review. But 4 out of 5 stars. The safety, its positioning, yeah, it's good. Scored it 4. The operation, you know, it's faultless. Scored that 4. The fact that it's a manual as opposed to an auto drops it down a little bit to 3. So overall, for the safety, it scores 3.7 out of 5 stars. Okay, so Remington T-Rex .22 sub 12. Topped off with the Night Pearl 4.5 to 27 by 56i Mantle M6. Again, top quality scope on a budget rifle, so there's no way that I can blame the optics when it comes to sighting this rifle in, or not giving me a clear image. Now, what we're going to do first off, like always, is a pellet test. I'm going to be starting off with the Bisley long range golds, and when you load the magazine for the T-Rex, basically you pull that cover over to the side so it exposes the central wheel. You then have to wind up the spring to the point where it can go no more, and there's a stop there. And what I found is easier is to put, you can do it from the other side, but I find it easier to put the pellet in skirt first at the back and then just release it, and then that keeps the spring in place and you can simply drop the other pellets in. Now 2.2, it's a 10-shot mag. They all go in quite easy. Just for the record, I have put 30 shots through this rifle. That's it. I'm going to talk to you about cleaning it when I'm inside, but with regards to sighting it in, And with regards to leading the barrel and cleaning it, yeah, 30 shots so far. So some people will say it's not a fair test because it hasn't had a whole load of lead through it, and I get that, but I've got a limited time and I do want to try and get this review out to you guys as quick as I can. So there we go, we've got a whole load of 2.2 pellets, and although it's been sunny, it's threatening rain as well, so I'm going to try and get this done quick. Bisley LRGs. The magazine feeds in from the right hand side. What I will say to it, although there's a definite stop, it doesn't feel as if it's kind of clicked into place or it's locked in. It comes in and out really easy. And is it an issue? I guess not. So far I've not, it's not caused a problem, but I can see it slipping out if the bolt is kept open. Very simple to use. Safety's on the front. Push it in. There's a red indicator there to say it's in live mode. Back in safe mode. And that's it. We'll give it a go. What I'll do is I'll use the target down there, top left-hand target. Let's see if we can group with the LRGs. Okay. Okay, I don't need to do any more. Quite happy with that actually. Surprised me. Just going to ditch the rest of those. So that was 6 shots. Nice little group. Okay, next up we've got the Jazzby Match Diablo Exact Jumbos. These are 15.89 grain. They are the 5.52s. Let's go top middle target. I will say, if there is a flyer on this one, I did load a pellet into the magazine with the skirt that's slightly deflected, so or slightly crimped in. Just haven't got the time to mess about with it. So if we've got one flyer, it's going to be down to that. Okay, I carried on going with that one, just purely because it kind of flew to the left first off and it was a little bit low, and I thought, well, let's just see what happens. And then that group started to form and it carried on going. Now you can tell that I'm not spending a lot of time between shots. This is all real time. I'm not cutting the footage. The only footage I will cut is between me loading up the different pellets, but the actual shoot time is real time. And that is, it's quite a tasty group, I've got to say. Right, let's go on to the next one. Next one's going to be the JSB Match Diablo Hades. These are 15.89 grains and they are 5.5s. That's it. And for the record, I filled the rifle to 240 bar. Max working or safe working pressure is 250 bar. And I'm counting my shots because obviously I want to talk to you about air efficiency and shot count later on. Top right hand target. Camera's not picking this up, but there is a bit of wind coming from my left side. I can feel it push against me, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the shot too much. That was definitely me, I think. Well, that's a big hole. I've got to say, so far, I'm really impressed with this rifle. Like I say, I've not been able to clean the barrel. I've only leaded it in with 30, 40, 50, now about 60 shots now that have gone through it. And it's enjoying itself. Real pleasant surprise. Although I don't know why I am surprised, because to be fair, I reviewed the Remington Warhawk as a Springer, and yeah, it wasn't particularly not well made. It didn't seem as robust as the German guns, but it's still shot pretty accurate for the money. And this appears to be doing the same. Tell you what, guys, now the sun's gone in, it's really getting quite chilly, so what I might do is just nip inside and get a hoodie, because it is getting a little bit cold, and I'm a little bit old to be getting cold. Right, so next up, VMX Pels. These are 14.66 grain. Yep, that's all it says. Right, let's give them a go. So we're going to go middle left-hand target. Let's put a group in there. It's surprising me. I'm just going to go and get that hoodie. I'm back. Yeah, that was. It's proving quite an interesting little gun. I have to say, I'm liking this for a budget rifle. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's go with the H&M Barracuda Hunters 5.5. So these are 18.21 grain, much heavier pellet. 5.50s. Let's see if it likes it. It's nice to be outside again. I've changed the positioning of my targets. I'm using the backdrop or backstop, sorry, of my garage. And the reason, it's not because the shot previously was unsafe, it's not that at all, because I've got so much land at the back here that, you know, the pellet's not going to leave my property. But what I was finding is I was struggling with the sunlight, because it always comes over from this direction. So I thought I'd just try and shuffle things around a little bit. Right, okay. Enough crap. We've got H&N Sport, Barracuda Hunters, 18.21 grain, and we're going to go for the centre target. Nice and comfy. Always nice when the first shot hits the centre, the ball. And again. There we go. That's it. I found it was a bit sticky there. I don't know whether you noticed, but when I was trying to index the pellet, it felt as if it was just catching a tad. Bit of an open group down there. You know what, I'm not being funny, but so far there's not a lot to fall out with. There really isn't. I'm really quite pleasantly surprised. It's yeah, much better than the last rifle that I just reviewed, the M18. This I'm liking. Next up we've got the Victory Shock. These .22 14.6 grain. Let's quickly load these up. I haven't weighed any of these pellets, so there's always bound to be some kind of, how can I say, discrepancy. I'm just taking them straight out of the tin, because to be fair, if I was going to go out doing a little bit of vermin control, pest control, I'd have some pellets with me and I'd just use them. I wouldn't be there sat with a set of scales seeing if every pellet is exactly the same. It's just not me. Okay, let's go middle right hand target and let's see whether these group. Make sure that lid is on properly. It's another group. It's one pellet that's a bit off. It's another group. It's doing really well. Okay, next up we're going to be the HN or H&N Field Target Trophies. These are 14.66 grain. 5.53. Just hoping this weather stays nice for the moment. By the way, the targets are courtesy of the Airgun target company, so I'll put a link in the description down below for them. A great couple of lads working behind the scenes there. The actual pellet trap, that thing is just incredible. There's no way that's going to ever deteriorate, and it's my laziness that hasn't painted it up. But they've got a whole selection of drop down targets as well. Oops, I just lost a pellet. And if you look at my previous reviews, you'll see that I've spoken about them already. Check them out though, guys. UK based company, little cottage industry, they need your support. Right. Bottom left hand target. Okay, we're out. Group is high and to the left, but it's a group. It's definitely a group. Alright, next up the Ultra Magnums, 14.3 grain. I should say, by the way, guys, that this T-Rex is a regulated rifle. So it seems to be performing quite nicely at the moment. It really is. And if it carries on like this, I haven't done the accuracy test yet, but if it carries on like this, it's certainly one for you to consider. Definitely at its price point, definitely for vermin control and taking out on the field. It's a synthetic stock. It looks fairly robust. It's performing well. Not particularly loud, and I'd like to see what sort of shot count we can get out of this, but so far so good. Ultra Magnums. Tell you what, let's go for the tiny little target, centre bottom. Way off to the left. Same hole. Coming in a little bit. You know, it's high and to the left, sort of at 11 o'clock, but to be fair, there's a couple of pellets outside the group, but the most are doing really quite well. So I've got, what have I got left? 4 more pellets to go. Let's try the Diablo Fields from Air Arms. 16 grain. Now these are made by the same company that makes JSBs, so they're regarded as a B grade pellet in comparison to the JSBs, but I I really can't say that. All the experience I've had with them is nothing but good, to be honest. So we'll load up with these, and they are my preferred pellet, I've got to say. When I have weighed these in the past, they've been pretty damn consistent. The skirts, you don't get many that are deformed. Why they're classed as a B grade pellet in comparison to the JSBs, I don't know. As I say, they're made in the same factory by the same people. Air Arms Diablo Fields. Right. Bottom right hand target. A little bit more of a scattered group, but still. Every one of these pellets could be fine-tuned. Every one. Right, I need to just swap the target down there, and I'll be back to finish off the the pellet test. The one thing that I'm not particularly keen on is this magazine. It's just, you know, when they're so small, if you've got kind of big chunky fingers, it just makes it a little bit awkward. But I guess with anything, you know, once you've used it a few times, you'll get used to it, and it becomes second nature. But I guess my job is to tell you about my user experience. And at the end of the day, you know, with all of these reviews that I do, it centres on the rifle that I am shooting, not the collective. So, you know, you may buy one of these and you may have a completely different experience. I'm not testing hundreds of them, I'm just testing one out of the box, you know, and I can only give you my views on that one rifle. So if you've got one that's shooting really well, fantastic. If you've got one that's shooting not so well, you know, it's just sometimes the luck of the draw. But so far, I've got to say, I'm impressed with this gun. I haven't done a Crony test yet, so I'll do that after this, after I've done the accuracy test. But yeah, we're now on to Crosman Premier Hollow Points. These are 14.3 grains. Same make as the Ultra Magnums. And I can tell because on the back of the tin is exactly the same wording and exactly the same layout. So there we go. Let's go top left hand target.
I got a little bit distracted there, I have to be honest, because the first shot hit the magnet that's holding the target in place. So I'm a bit peeved. Yeah. I can still see the magnet, it's pushed it up, but yeah, that's frustrating. Reserve judgment on them. So next up we've got the Norma Golden Trophy FT Heavies. These are 17.6 grain. A very, very shiny pellet. Some people love them, some people not so much. I've had mixed results with them. We'll see how they perform out of this rifle. Top middle target. Okay, now obviously you can't see what I'm seeing down the scope, you can only see the target at the end there. The two shots to the left of that group, I pulled, definitely. I could feel myself over to the left hand side. I think I've got a contender for the accuracy test. Yeah. Last up we got the RWS Superdomes, 14.5 grain. Temperature's really dropping now. It's a shame because we've not had much of a summer this year. And by the way, maybe a little bit early to say, but hopefully, and I'm touching wood here, yeah, touching wood, if all goes according to plan, then I should have some exciting news. Well, exciting for me anyway. You guys will probably just think, yeah, okay, fine, normal, but for me it's nice bit of news. Anyway, I'll keep you informed on that one, but I'm not gonna let you know what it's about, not yet. There you go, RWS Superdome. Let's go top right hand target. Right guys, I'm going to swap that because I hit the magnet again. We'll go for the center target, okay? Okay. I guess people could turn around to me and say that's my fault. I've completely messed up that last group test with the Superdomes. I'm happy enough. Can I say that the rifle is pellet fussy? In all honesty, you can shoot with any of these pellets. I'm sure once you've leaded the rifle in, given it a chance to settle down, it's performing, you know, relatively well with all of them. For the accuracy test though, I'm going to go with these. They just feel slightly better than the others. Okay, so I went to do an accuracy test and the pellets just started dropping really quick. So I checked the air pressure and it was just starting to drop off the regulator, so I thought, do you know what, I'm going to fill it up and take it back up to 200 bar. There's a new target down there. I'm just quickly putting in these Normas. So the Norma Golden Trophy FTs, 17.6 grains. And then what we'll do is a proper accuracy test. See how it performs. So like always, what we're going to do, put a pellet in each of the outer corner targets, and then we'll do a group in the center target, and that will give me some measurements and I can feed that into my algorithm. Right, let's give it a go. Starting off top left hand target. Top right hand target. This is the group in the center target. Okay, I'm out. That's the Remington T-Rex 0.22. What can I say except for a budget rifle, I am truly impressed. I've seen a few reviews online, and you know, it's not a new gun, it's been out a while, but those reviews I'm always skeptical about mainly because of the people that are reviewing them, and I sort of have an idea as to how they do those reviews. I thought it'd be nice to get my hands on one of these and see whether it is all it's cracked up to be. And you know what? Would I take this on a vermin shoot? Yes, I definitely would. It is consistent. The trigger is a little bit gritty. I will say that. It could do with fine tuning. It could do with with just polishing the sears, because you can feel just a light snagging. So that's something that you've got to get used to. And I really don't like this bolt-on part to the end of the barrel shroud there, purely because I know the barrel stops short. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but you can't take that off. And because I put a rope through this, and I do it through the breech end, it gets caught up in this, I don't know if you want to call it a sound moderator, this triangular affair at the end of the rifle there. So that kind of gets in the way, and I don't want to use a rod in case the jag gets stuck in the barrel. So yeah, apart from that, for the price point, and I'll talk about that inside, this is quite an impressive rifle, I have to say. I like this. I do like this. Alright guys, I'll catch you inside.
Okay, so you've seen me shooting this rifle outside now, and what a pleasant surprise. What more can I say? As yet, I don't think I've come across a rifle, especially at this price point, that is just not pellet fussy. Would I expect more from it? Absolutely not. I mean, I went through 12 different types of pellets, and it was forming groups with each and every one of them. Yeah, look, you know the speed that I was shooting at, and I didn't give it the respect that it deserved. But in all honesty, this was grouping, and whatever pellet you pick up and you put it through it, it just seems to enjoy shooting them. Yeah, the odd flyer here and there, but that you'd get with any gun. And I do believe that once this has had time to bed itself in and properly let itself in, you could really get this down to a laser beam. It's shot very, very well. Mind-blowingly so. It really did. Let me just go through some tech specs, and then we'll talk about, you know, the actual findings out on the range, as it were. But let me give you a little bit more information on the rifle. Dimensions and weight. So the rifle from butt to muzzle end is 1045 millimeters, or 41.14 inches long. The reach from the butt to the trigger is 360 mil, or 14.17 inches. The rail at the top here, the Picatinny rail, is 152 mil long. Obviously that spans the breech, or 5.98 inches, and it's 21.57 mil wide, or 0.85 of an inch. The offset, so from the top of the Picatinny rail to the center of the barrel, is 15.23 millimeters, or 0.6 of an inch. And the rifle in its naked form, so no scope, no mounts, no bipod, weighs in at 3.15 kilograms, or 6.94 pounds. So with regards to handling on the field and balance, like I said in my previous review, I've changed this slightly. If you've seen some older reviews, I'm now breaking this down to whether I think it's a rifle for the field or for the bench. This one, in my mind, is for the field, so I'm going to grade it accordingly. Coming in at 6.94 pounds, that's a good handling weight. It's not too heavy. You can carry this around all day and not feel tired. You know, it's just a nicely balanced, not very heavy rifle. To be fair, the majority of the weight on this rifle comes from this way over the top or highly spec'd scope, the Night Pearl 4.5 to 27 by 56i. Majority of the weight is in the optics here, and I will say now that, you know, in truth it is way over spec'd. At this distance, the distance that I was shooting on the range, it's at the kind of the minimum distance you're going to want to shoot with a scope of this sort. This is more for long distance shooting, but I'm trying it out at the moment, and I'm trying it at its minimum and its maximum. We'll see how it, you know, how it performs. That's a completely different review. Anyway, so for weight out on the field and with regards to handling, I've given it 4 out of 5 stars. It's just a great gun to have in your cabinet. It really is. Whether you're starting out or whether you're a seasoned, you know, vermin controller, I would most definitely have one of these. It's a great gun, it really is. Anyway, let me carry on. So, with regards to loading, it comes with a 10-shot mag, and this was faultless. It's simple in its design. For me, it's a little bit small in that it's only 10 shots, and obviously when I score the rifle I have to take into account all the different rotary magazines and all the different designs on the market as we speak at the moment. Some have 30 odd shots, you know, so a 10-shot mag is actually quite small these days, but it works. It's faultless, it fits nicely within the rifle. What I will say though is that there is no click or catch, so when you actually feed this into the gun, although it comes to a stop, it doesn't actually click against anything, so it feels as if it might fall out if it loosens up with time. It didn't do. It obviously performed well whilst I was shooting it, but you know, it might happen, I suppose. The other nice thing about the rifle is that it comes with a single shot tray, which is, you know, a handy little feature if that's what you want to do. If you want to take it a little bit more serious, and if you've got the time, you can properly tune it in, I suppose, or tune yourself into the rifle. So overall for loading, 3.3 out of 5 stars. And again, the reason why that's reduced, because the indexing side of things was good, 4 out of 5. It's just the magazine being 10 shot for a 2.2 is a bit small these days. So what can I tell you about the barrel? Made by Remington. It's button rifles. The barrel is 503mm or 19.8 inches long. I can't tell what the diameter of the barrel is because I can't get this shroud off, and I don't want to touch that. As I say, it's a new rifle. It's not for me to kind of destroy it by pulling it apart. What I can say is the shroud length is 382mm or 15.04 inches long, and the diameter of the shroud is 24.98mm or 0.98 of an inch. It does come with this integral moderator, I suppose you can call it an integral moderator. It's certainly all part and parcel of the same unit, and you can't unscrew it. That's one of the drawbacks with this rifle, and that's the issue that I had. I like to clean them out properly before I shoot them. With this, I can pass my cord through, my cleaning cord through, because there is a void from the end of the barrel to the first baffle of the moderator. I'm assuming there's baffles in there, and the rope kept getting caught in there, so I couldn't feed it out. It does recommend using a cleaning rod. I've got a 2.2 cleaning rod which I use for my rim fires and for my centre fires. And basically that rod, although it will pass through, if I put a jag on the brass end of that, I feel as if it would get stuck, so I don't want to do that. I guess the best way to clean this would be with the cleaning pellets that you can get, and just run a few of those through it, and do that every so often. But saying that, you saw the results of me shooting this rifle outside, and even though it's not been cleaned, it's performed very, very well, and it's only had 150 shots through it. So that's saying something, it really is. Okay, what else can I say? Now, talking about the accuracy test, well, blow me, didn't it do well? It really did very, very well. I've got the results here. I'm going to turn that around the other side just in case you can pick out these targets easier. This is the accuracy test. The closest to the bull is this shot here. So from center to center is 4.24 millimeters. Okay. The furthest from the bull is this shot here, and that's 11.5 mil. Okay, less than half an inch. And then the group size, overall group size there, is 11.61 millimeters. Guys, for a budget rifle, and I've not spoken about the cost as yet, but for a budget rifle, this puts a lot of the high-end rifles to shame. And by high-end, I mean those rifles touching £1,000 plus. It really does put them to shame. And again, don't forget, you saw how I was shooting. You know, I'm on not a rock solid bench. I've got this in my shoulder. I've got a cheap bipod on it. Okay, I've got a brilliant optic. But saying that, it's cracking. It's absolutely cracking. Again, I mentioned it in the footage, but the targets are courtesy of the Airgun target. Yeah, the Airgun target company. Again, check them out online. I'm going to pop a code down below in the description. That'll get you a percentage off of any purchases with them. The lads behind the scenes, a couple of lads, great guys, little cottage industry, it needs your support, so please, you know, help them out, go and buy some of their products, and they're certainly well worth the money. I mean, that pellet trap that I've got down there is so robust, it's gonna see me out, that's for sure. So how did I score this rifle out of accuracy? Well, it actually achieved 4.8 out of 5 stars, one of the highest scores of any rifle that I've reviewed so far. Not pellet fussy at all. I'm sure that you'd be able to group it with, and I mean tightly group it with a bit of time, bit of effort, with any of the pellets that I put through it. I chose the Normas for the pellet test. I could have gone with the busy LRGs, I could have gone with any of them. You know, I just thought I'd give the Normas a go. And I did that. Another reason why I did that, although they shot really well, but I've never had a decent kind of result with Normas in the past. And I thought, well, you know, let's give it a go. Let's see if it'll do it. And it did. Yeah, it did a cracking job. Absolutely cracking job. So 4.8 out of 5 stars. And that's for the pellet and accuracy test. The trigger out of the box. Okay, I've rated this 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's more than okay. It's not good. It's kind of between the two. And the reason why I say that is because although it's predictable, it just feels like it's grating on something, as if there's a little bit of a snag there, some burr somewhere on the sears. I think if you could get into it and you could disassemble it and polish up those sears, then it would, you know, it benefit 100 times. It just feels as if it's snagging slightly as you put a little bit of pressure on it. You can feel that it's almost dragging on something like a very fine grit. Touch off putting, but it's a budget rifle. What can I say? So 3.5 out of 5 stars anyway. Now, power output. Okay, this box says that it comes with up to 12 foot-pounds of knockdown power. Okay, there you go, 12 foot-pound of knockdown power. And I've had it in the past where they say that, and actually it's nowhere near 12 foot-pound. Look at my last review, 9 point something it was. Well, this, bear in mind it's regulated, I ran it over the Crony and I was getting speeds between 557.4 feet per second to 569.3 foot per second. So there was a difference of 11.9 feet per second over the Crony, over that string. And using the Air Arms Diablo Field 16 grain .22 pellets, this is kicking out 11.26 foot-pound of energy, or 15.26 joules. That is bang on the money. That is absolutely perfect, because obviously if you get a slightly heavier pellet, then you're more likely to produce a little bit more power output, and you want to stay within the legal limit in the UK, which is 12 foot-pound. So perfect result, absolutely perfect. For that, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now, let's go to the air supply. In all honesty, guys, I don't know what the volume of this cylinder is. I've tried to find out, I can't find it out. So if anybody knows, please drop it in the comments below, because that would be of interest to me. The max working pressure, or safe working pressure for the cylinder, is 250 bar. I filled it to 240. I don't ever like to take it all the way to the limits. As I say, it's filled using that coupler, that probe with the Foster Fit coupler on the end of it. At the end here, it is regulated. There's no kind of adjustment for a hammer spring, there's no adjustment for transport port, there's no adjustment for a regulator. It's very basic. However, when it comes down to the shot count per fill, now this is one thing that isn't correct on the box. The box says up to 300 shots per fill. I guess if you were to take that until it shot its way out completely empty, then possibly, but in real terms what I found was that I filled it from 240 bar and I shot it down to 120 bar. That's where it went down to, and I found at that point the pellets were just dropping off, and you could see a marked difference in the accuracy. So obviously it's falling out of the range of the rig. The recorded shot count that I had was 146 shots. So if you were to take it to its max fill of 250 bar, extrapolate those figures, you're going to end up shooting around about 158 or 160 shots per fill from a cylinder. That's, you know, that's good, and no two ways about it, it's good. With regards to the air efficiency, you're getting 1.2 shots per bar of air pressure used, and that's okay. So overall it scores 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, it's a very, very good score, especially for the fact that it's a budget rifle. Now, it's got a moderator fitted, as you can see, and I put that up against my sound meter, and it's kicking out 85 decibels at the muzzle end there. Scores 3 out of 5. Okay. Now, the crux of it, let's talk about money. So how much is this rifle? Again, without the scope, without the mounts, without the bipod, in its naked form, with a 3-9x40 starter scope, with scope mounts, you know, rotary mag, single shot mag, decent probe. We've got spare O-rings, Allen keys. There's a tube there as well. I'm not sure what that tube is for, but there's a tube in there. owner's manual. It comes in at £299. Now that is absolutely stunning for the performance that it's achieving. Okay, £299. Now what I've done is basically, in order to work out whether it's good value for money, and I do this with all my reviews, I assume that you're going to want to buy or obtain a air supply. Normally that comes in the form of a diver's bottle, and a 7 litre diver's bottle is about £200. You get smaller ones, but obviously the smaller they are, the more often you're going to have them refilled. So there's 200 quid there for the air supply. Tin of pellets, now anything up to, well, hopefully you get a couple of tins of pellets for 20 quid, but more like one nowadays. And then a decent scope, you're going to be spending, and it would warrant it, somewhere around about 150 quid for a decent scope, or a half decent scope, something that will do this justice. I mean, that Wolf Hurricane that I've got on my Virarc, that's a little bit more expensive, but that would certainly fit on this nicely, and it would do it justice for sure. This is overkill. As I say, this is more suited to long distance shooting, but I've taken it right down to its limits with regards to closer targets to see how it performs. But does the rifle warrant it? Yes, it does. It warrants a good scope, that's for sure. So for price, if you'd have the rifle, a scope, a diver's bottle, some pellets, totals £669. You could get it cheaper, I'm sure, and also Mark, if you go back to his website, will no doubt do some sort of a deal with possibly a foot pump, you know, or a better quality budget scope, so you could probably bring that price within. But even at £669, that scores 4.5 out of 5 stars. But with regards to value for money, when you kind of take into account these results for that cost, it's giving me a score of 4.7 out of 5 stars. So do I think this is great value for money? I think it's exceptional value for money. It's absolutely stunning, and it is probably the best value for money rifle that I have reviewed so far on this channel, without a shadow of a doubt. It is absolutely, it's mind-blowing. Remington, you know, whoever you are behind the scenes, because obviously it's a Chinese company now, guys, you have done a pucker stunning job with this, and I highly commend you for what you've achieved in this rifle at that price point, £299. I'll say it again, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Well guys, that's the end of the review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously there are more to come. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Numbers means a lot in this game. Give us a thumbs up, share amongst your friends and family, and until the next one, as always, please stay safe, shoot safe, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye bye for now.